Hey guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes the fate of the box office records, the speaker of the ill-educated, Paramount going to India, the Muppets in the museum, seniors starring in a senior movie, a young and gay Dumbledore, Beauty and the $1 billion, Back to the Labyrinth, Bill Could Get a Bride, and the winner of the role of Cable. So with that said, let's get things started. This Easter, people are celebrating the resurrection of this franchise. Fate of the Furious managed to speed its way at the box office during Easter weekend by just passing $100 million. Outside of North America, however, that's where the movie truly shines by breaking a couple of big records. It broke Jurassic World's record for the biggest international opening by getting $432 million, and broke Star Wars The Force Awakens' record for the biggest worldwide opening with $532 million, only $3 million more than what Star Wars made. As for the other movies, they all had to step down to make room for Fate, including The Boss Baby sitting silently in second with about $15.5 million, the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast with about $13.5 million, Smurfs The Lost Village becoming more of a flop with about $6.5 million, and Going in Style with more than $6 million. The one that got the biggest boost this week was the drama Gifted, which now that it got its national release after its limited one, shot up to 6th place with $3 million. To all the people that want to be involved with politics to represent dumb white hillbillies, this story is for you. Ron Howard has signed on to both produce and direct the controversial best-selling memoir Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis. The memoir tells the story of J.D. Vance, a Marine veteran from Middletown, Ohio, who fell into drug addiction and financial troubles. Vance has been known to the public as the Trump Whisperer by giving the voice of the ill-educated people in his hometown during the 2016 election. Imagine Entertainment's president, Erica Huggins, stated that the memoir is a powerful, true coming-of-age memoir that illuminates the plight of America's white working class, speaking directly to the turmoil of our current political climate. The book has been in the New York Times bestsellers list twice, on August 2016 and January of this year. Indian movie fans are gonna get lucky with this special. Amazon has collaborated with Paramount in order to expand their collection of their Prime Video streaming service in India. The director and country head of Amazon Prime Video India, Nitesh Kripalani, stated, "Our goal is to provide our customers with the best movies, be it local or international." The Paramount movies that they will add include franchises like Indiana Jones, Mission Impossible, and Transformers, recent films like 10 Cloverfield Lane, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, and Star Trek Beyond, and animated franchises by DreamWorks Animation like Shrek, Madagascar, and Kung Fu Panda. The other companies that are already partnering with Amazon India include Lionsgate and BBC, along with local companies like Dharma Productions, T-Series, and Vishesh Films. It's time to meet the Muppets in New York City. The Museum of Moving Images have started a Kickstarter campaign in order to fund a permanent exhibit devoted to the works of Jim Henson. The Henson family went and donated hundreds of puppets that were crafted for many of the legendary puppeteers' works. The films and TV shows that they will feature include Sesame Street, The Muppet Show, The Muppet Movies, Fraggle Rock, The Dark Crystal, and Labyrinth. Carl Goodman, the executive director at the museum, stated, "We are honored to be working with the designers and builders at the legendary Jim Henson's Creature Shop to restore and preserve the puppets for future generations. And we are all excited to be partnering with Kickstarter on reaching our goal of presenting the new permanent Jim Henson exhibit." The campaign is looking to reach its goal of $40,000, and it ends on May 11th. Old people gotta have some fun too. Christopher Lloyd has signed on to appear in the romantic comedy Senior Moment with William Shatner as the star. The movie will be about a retired Top Gun Navy pilot, played by Shatner, who decided to live life again by speeding in his old convertible with his buddy, played by Lloyd, as he misses the days when he used to test NASA aircrafts. However, they find themselves in the middle of a crackdown, which results in Shatner's character to get his car impounded and get his license revoked. The movie will be directed by Giorgio Serafini and written by Christopher Momeni and Kurt Burgart. While no other actors are announced to be a part of the cast or a release date has been set, the production is scheduled to start filming this spring in Palm Springs, California. Before he was the headmaster, he was Jude. Jude Law signed on to the sequel of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in order to play as Albus Dumbledore. During the period that the film will be set in, Dumbledore was only a transfiguration professor at Hogwarts. J.K. Rowling, the producer and writer of the film, hinted that there could be a chance that audiences will see the character being openly gay. The director of the first film and the sequel, David Yates, stated, "Jude Law is a phenomenally talented actor whose works I have long admired, and I'm looking forward to finally having the opportunity to work with him. I know he will brilliantly capture all the unexpected facets of Albus Dumbledore as J.K. Rowling revealed this very different time in his life." The second of the 5 Fantastic Beasts movies planned is set to be released on November 16th, 2018, and filming will begin this summer. In recent years, money is the tale as old as time. The live-action reboot of Beauty and the Beast has officially made $1 billion at the worldwide box office. Separately, the film gathered a total of $455 million domestically and $588 million internationally after almost a month since its release. Based on the 1991 animated masterpiece, Disney put in a budget onto the film with $160 million going into the production alone. The previous feature to cross the $1 billion mark was earlier this year with Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So far, the other feature films of 2017 would have a lot of catching up to do if they want to get into the levels of Beauty and the Beast. Following behind include Logan with a box office total of $600 million and Kong Skull Island with $552 million globally. Guess we'll be reminded of the Babe again. TriStar Pictures is officially set to create a reboot of Jim Henson's 1986 cult classic, Labyrinth. What the company did so far to move it forward was to hire the team behind the upcoming The Girl in the Spider's Web with Fede Alvarez directing and co-writing it with Jay Basu. In terms of the story, sources say that it will not be a remake of the original film and that they will develop a new story that could end up either as a sequel or a spin-off, more in the veins of the 2016 Ghostbusters film. Not only will TriStar handle the production, but also the Jim Henson Company will take care of it as well, with Lisa Henson, the daughter of Jim, as a producer. The production is said to immediately begin once Alvarez and Basu are done with working with The Girl with the Spider's Web. If a love story worked very well with that one, maybe the same magic can work here too. Bill Condon, the director of the live-action reboot of Beauty and the Beast, is in talks with Universal Pictures to direct another remake, this time being The Bride of Frankenstein. Previously, Condon had been very open that he was a huge fan of the original 1935 film by James Whale and starring Boris Karloff and Elsa Lanchester. In fact, in 1998, he both wrote and directed a film called Gods and Monsters, which chronicles the final days of James Whales and received an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. The current script for the remake, written by David Coop, is said to have a new feminist twist to the feature. The Bride of Frankenstein will be one of the many films Universal has planned in order to reboot the Universal Monsters franchise. The first one is set and ready with The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe, is prepared to hit theaters on June 9th. After several reports of many different actors on the shortlist, the character finally has an actor to portray him. Josh Brolin has officially been casted as Cable in the upcoming sequel to Deadpool. He will be starring alongside Ryan Reynolds, who is returning as the Merc with the Mouth, and Zazie Beetz as Domino. For several months, the role of Cable was considered for many different actors, and some have made headline news for their consideration, including Michael Shannon and Stranger Things' David Harbour, along with rumors that it could be Russell Crowe and Brad Pitt. Coincidentally, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Brolin already has a big role for what is currently the biggest superhero film franchise of all time as the villain Thanos, who has already made a few appearances in the post-credits of a few movies. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, you can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you were watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!